Okay,
I
so
guess you're right.
welcome,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, to the 2014 Icel.me Game Awards. I'm Icel. This is Rotoou. Hello.
Hey,
Uh,
what's
um,
up?
for us, it's evening. For whoever watches this is probably not. Um, and without further ado, we will begin our unrelated to anything award show beside our personal feelings about games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mostly yours. This
Yes,
year wasn't a good year for me. I mean, it was a good year, but not in terms of video games.
not a good gaming year.
No, no, not a good game.
Okay, pick the first category.
But since you're already hovering on the most underrated game of the year, I guess that we'll start with best soundtrack.
Fine, we will start with backstory. Do you have
Yeah.
anything? Do you have anything to say about a good soundtrack?
I've searched for games that I played with the soundtrack that I've listened to, and nothing really that I think that is the best sound. Maybe the best soundtrack that I've heard, but probably just a mediocre soundtrack.
Okay, so what is the
Um,
best soundtrack you heard?
I, I'll, I'll say Hearthstone, but seriously, it's not a great soundtrack. It's repetitive, and at some point, I just want to. It's mostly sound effects, not the soundtrack, that keeps the volume up during the Hearthstone.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm listening to a Hearthstone podcast called The Angry Chicken, and they have for their opening melody a metal cover of the Hearthstone theme, and it's awesome.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah,
You should send me the link after that.
I will. Okay, so I put 3 games on my soundtrack selections. One of them
Mm-hmm.
I played, one of them I watched, and one of them I watched a stream of, which is different because I just watched like a 2 hour of it and not the entire game. But the soundtrack the soundtrack was so good. I bookmarked the album on Bandcamp to
Okay.
keep listening to it. So we will
Mm-hmm.
start with that game. It's called Freedom Planet. It's 16-bit, we will say, Sega-inspired Sonic clone that came out this year, or in June, I think. And um, I don't know. The soundtrack is just good. It chiptunes mostly.
As most of the
Yeah,
16-bit
obviously.
games have.
And something of note about the game is all 3 main characters are female, which is
Okay.
kind of refreshing. And
I've seen I've seen on the review or something mostly female, but I didn't know it was all females.
it's not all females. There is a one supporting character which is male, but the 3 playable characters are female.
Okay.
There is one which is a dog, one which is a cat, and one which is a dragon, which doesn't look anything like a dragon.
Just classify it as dragon and yeah, let the
The
other do rest.
cat rides a motorcycle, while the dragon is very fast. It's Sonic, basically.
Okay. Yeah, understood. I
So
think
that
the only chip tune I ever really liked was for a game called Ares, Ares,
yeah.
and besides that, there was no other chip tune I ever liked really. Okay, so wait, this is your pick or this
No,
is just
that's
one of your?
I'm just talking about the game. That's the
Okay.
honorable mention.
Mhm.
the two real competitive in this category are Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance, and Transistor, for completely different themes and reasons. Like Transistor is melodic, it's beautiful and excellent, while Revengeance is metal. One of the cool things about Revengeance is that the music in the boss fights change according to the boss phase. You start with the just background symphony of the song, and then the normal beginning lyrics of the song in the second phase, and then in the third phase there is the chorus with the heavy metal stuff, and each boss has its own track, of course. And anyway, it's not only a well-made soundtrack, it's also a well-implemented soundtrack, because it gel
Transition.
well. Yeah, it transition well
smoothly
with the mechanics.
Okay.
It's something I really like generally in games, that when you do stuff, not only the visual change but also the music change. It's nice. And Transistor, because I didn't finish the game, I can't say like I can say for like I think 2/3 of the game, but not for the ending of it. People say that you shouldn't listen to the Transistor soundtrack without playing the game, because the songs themselves are spoilers. I don't know if I will take it that far. Yeah, each song is very tailored to certain moments in the game, and there is one specific song in that soundtrack that I keep listening over and over, which is very good. So all in all,
How is the soundtrack to Transistor, besides the songs that are, you say, talk about the journey, the adventure itself? How is the music? Is it like Diablo or something like that? Mostly atmospheric stuff and.
It's not mostly atmospheric stuff. It's part score and part actual songs. The main character of Transistor is a singer, and some of the songs in the soundtrack, it's like she's singing. So you get to this level, to a theater where she put on a show, and she remembers when she sang there, and the song is playing in the background, and then there is a boss.
So it's not like a cutscene when you hear the song.
Nope.
It's like the background song that plays when you reach a certain point.
It's transition between them. There are obviously tracks that are just the general background when you go from point A to point B, but since it's not a long game and each level has a purpose, there isn't really something that repeats itself. All the tracks are purposeful.
Okay. So which one is the winner?
I think that Revengeance is the winner. I think Transistor has a higher quality soundtrack, but I like Revengeance better because I like the genre better, metal, and because I like the thing they did with the boss fights and how the songs themselves gel with the fights. So this is my pick, and yes.
I have to say it's a great pick. Actually, I bought the game. I didn't know about the soundtrack stuff, but I bought the game, and I'm really looking forward to play it when I'll have the time. And
One day.
Look forward to the soundtrack as well, which is great.
Yep.
Yeah, I have two games on my list to play next, which is The Wolf Among Us and Revengeance.
I have started The Wolf Among Us, Chapter 1. It came out last year, so I can't talk about it. Only Chapter 2 and up came out in 2014.
Okay. Yeah.
But I really like the song about The Wolf Among Us from Miracle of Sound.
That I heard. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to play both games. Although, yeah, as you said, Wolf Among Us is actually last year.
Some of it.
We'll leave it at that.
About a quarter of it.
Yeah, I guess we'll get to Broken Age, which is probably on the same page here.
Yeah.
So, what is our next category?
Next category, we will do biggest disappointment.
Okay.
I actually don't know what to pick for biggest disappointment.
What are the options?
There are a lot of options. Okay, you know what?
Okay.
I have a 50-50 disappointment about Diablo 3: The Reaper of Souls, and I will explain. The reason it's half a disappointment and half not a disappointment is because the expansion patch was great. It brought Diablo 3 to a new level. I actually didn't play Diablo 3 before the patch because it wasn't a good game before the patch.
They fixed everything.
Yeah.
Not everything. Most stuff.
Most of the things. For those who don't know, the Loot 0.0 patch that came before the Reaper of Souls changed completely the whole loot system in the game, changed all the progression system in the game. You didn't need anymore to progress from difficulty to difficulty to unlock them. You could just pick whatever difficulty you want, and they added also the torment levels. So that was excellent. Another excellent thing that the expansion brought was the adventure mode, which is a mode. It's basically the same maps as the normal campaign, just without any of the story, which is what people do in Diablo anyway. After they finish the game the first time, they just go over it again and again to get more loot. So the adventure mode supports that, and it has challenges and stuff like that. But the disappointing part about the expansion is the expansion content, the all Act 5. It wasn't...
The actual expansion.
It wasn't good. A, it was short. B, the bosses were crap. They were all damage sponges. If I don't usually like challenging games. I don't play on high difficulty levels, but in Diablo I do, because the game is fun. I can kill dozens of monsters even on master difficulty with my mage, but on the expansion it just takes ages to kill anything. And it's not challenging. You are not in any danger of dying. It just takes hours to kill those things.
It reminds me of hell difficulty on Diablo 2.
Yeah,
which again was not very difficult, but just took ages to kill everything because this is immune to physical, this is immune to lightning, this is immune.
Yeah. So the thing is that they did the original bosses kind of good. Well, maybe not kill, like the final battle against Diablo in Diablo 3. It's not the best thing again. The whole fourth act is kind of short and not as good as the others, but some of the bosses there were really, really good, even on higher difficulties. And then the expansion comes and it's meh. That's what I have to say about the Reaper of Souls.
I think you can attribute the loot patch and everything surrounding this to the expansion itself. I just can't say it's the expansion that actually fixed it, because the expansion is just the
Yeah,
content.
everybody got
And
the
no, no,
patch.
yeah, and I've seen some people saying that the expansion was good partly because of it, and I don't see the connection actually. Just it's totally different stuff. I mean, the money auction house and the loot and everything.
No, the real money
It has
auction house
nothing
wasn't
to do with the
connected at all to the
expansions.
expansion.
Yeah, but you know, people just say it's part of the expansion and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
It's removal anyway.
The new class is good. I can say that.
Okay, I haven't seen the new class actually. Nothing about it.
I played with it a bit. It wasn't one of the classes I beat the game with. I beat the game with Wizard, Bounty Hunter, not Bounty Hunter, Witch Hunter,
But what
and
with
Witch Hunter,
no, Witch Hunter?
Demon Hunter, Demon Hunter,
Demon
something
Hunter.
Hunter,
Yeah, Demon Hunter. No, Demon Hunter and
Witch Doctor.
something
Yes,
else. Witch Doctor.
yeah. I finished the whole thing with those three, and I played up to Act 3 with the other two classes. There was a month last year that not last year, this year. Which month was it? I don't remember. There was a month I played like 40 hours of Diablo 3 in 1 month after the loot
Wow.
2.0 came out. And after it came out, I finished the first, no, not the first, but I finished like 2/3 of the fifth act, and I didn't want to play anymore because fuck it.
Sucked. Just say it sucked.
Yeah, it sucked.
Okay.
What else on my list is a disappointment? Ooh, Child of Light.
Okay, I have no idea what is it. So
Child of Light is an indie
Child of Light.
game made by Ubisoft. They tried to pull a
Okay.
Blizzard on it, like take a small team, do the whole thing on the down low, put no marketing behind it, but they put marketing behind it. And it's not a bad game, it's just boring. Like 2 hours
what
into
genre is it?
it's a role play. It's like old school JRPGs, but with a twist on the combat. It's not turn based. It's semi real time. There is like an action bar that goes that fills up, and each time your turns come on the action bar, you get to act. And there are some mechanics that you can freeze the enemy so they go back on the bar, and you can haste your character so they go forward on the bar, and so forth.
Okay.
The combat
So,
system is not bad.
turn-based when each turn could go the whole length or part of the length.
Yeah, there isn't really an end turn button. It just is go automatically. The art style is amazing. The idea behind it is very cool, but it's after like 2 to 3 hours, it's boring. It's samey. You do the thing again and again. The whole game is the whole dialogue is done in rhymes, which get on your nerves.
Really?
Really fast.
It's usually pretty refreshing to see good rhymes, but I guess the rhymes suck.
Yeah, but a game, 40 hours of rhymes.
Yeah, I can see how that could get on your nerve. Especially when sometimes it's a forced rhyme and just
Yeah.
why? I hate when they do that.
And well, I don't know this firsthand, but from what I understand from other people, there was supposed to be multiple ending to the game, and eventually there weren't multiple ending to the game, but the ending of the game hint that there are multiple endings. So all in all, another meh.
Well, that is Ubisoft for you. They can promise you
Unfortunately,
something and then
yeah,
not
but
deliver anything.
it was the only game this year with a new concept they did. Like every other game they published was the same game.
I don't see the connection between these two things. It's still Ubisoft. They
Okay,
they do it with every game, almost every
half-assed.
game.
They do everything half-assed.
Okay, okay, I'll accept
So
that.
I will grant Child of Light the biggest disappointment because the patch for Diablo was good.
But the patch is not part of the expansion.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was
You see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. People just attribute the patch to the expansion, and it just isn't so.
Child of Light was a worse disappointment than Diablo.
Okay, that I can accept.
Okay, fine. Choose the next category.
I think we'll do the best examples now. So we'll start with the example for the great.
No,
How great
I
the
must
game
but I
industry is.
must talk about both of those at the same time.
Yeah, I know because that's why I said
Yeah.
best examples.
Okay.
So we're going to do the best example of how great the gaming industry is, and then best example of how terrible the gaming has become.
Okay.
Just, yeah.
So this both of us know from before the show what the topic is going to be. Best example of how great the game industry is Divinity Original Sin. Why it's the best example? It's a Kickstarter game, which was very successful, came out on a timely manner, was very good, and paid back all of its money, all of the investment put into it, both from the Kickstarter and from private investors, and made enough money that they can make a new game without going to crowdfunding again. When a company, you probably don't know this, but I'm very disappointed in Harebrained Schemes, the creators of Shadowrun Returns, because they are going back to Kickstarter for the new Shadowrun game.
What?
Yeah, they are going to
After they released the expansion, the DLC expansion.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what
they
was
did
that.
Shadowrun Returns. They did Dragonfall. They released the Dragonfall Director's Cut. They sold a bazillion copies, and they are going back to Kickstarter to make Hong Kong. Everyone that listens to this, I am not going to give them money again. That's not okay.
There are no words, although, yeah, there's a worse example for that, and I guess we'll get to that soon.
Yes, there is a worse example than that. Now, one can argue that Larian, the creators of Divinity Original Sin, shouldn't have got to Kickstarter to begin with, because they released in the past like 5 other games, and most of them was kind of successful, not highly successful. Divine Divinity, the original game, is considered one of the best RPGs ever made, like classical RPGs, not like in the line of Baldur's Gate and stuff. Beyond Divinity wasn't really that great. What was after that? Divinity. The problem with Larian is that the game comes out really buggy. Divinity 2 was a mess. It was only really playable after they released the director's cut. And then
Patched everything? Did you patch the original stuff, or?
Yeah, it was the original stuff plus the DLCs and whatever. It was called the Dragon Knight edition or whatever. I don't remember. I have like three different versions of Divinity 2 in my Steam account because each sale I got another version of it for some reason, in a bundle or something. um, and then Divinity Dragon Commander was half really good, the diplomacy part, and half not really good, which was the strategy part.
Okay.
But Divinity Original Sin is all good. The only real issue with it is the level scaling. You can't really fight anything above your level, even by one level difference. Like at least in the starting area. After that, it gets a bit easier, but it's a really good game, and it has multiplayer co-op with a cool system which you can both characters can argue with each other and earn points of reputation depending on what choices you made and stuff. Really good classical RPG. So
Nice.
they wanted to do a game. They asked for money. They got their money. They returned every single penny, and they have a bunch of money to do a new game now.
Hey, to Kickstarter.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the complete opposite of that.
Yay, and then boo to Kickstarter.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah, why boo?
Double Fine ask for $400,000. They got more than $2 million. Then it wasn't enough. They asked for more money. They went and did the Humble Bundle, and they did the early access, and all of it wasn't enough. They cut the game in half.
And that's I'm sorry just to summarize it, but for a point and click game.
Yeah.
For a fucking point and click game.
I'm going to Steam because I don't remember how long the first episode of Broken Age takes, but it's also fucking short. It in
Act
no
one.
yeah, Act 1. In no circumstances this game I blanked on the word is worth the money. Not the investment money, and not the price they are asking for it. Although, you pay for the first act, you're going to get the second half for free. But anyway.
I think you're entitled to. First of all,
because it's half a game. It's
game.
not. Now I would have less issue with it if they didn't take the game out of early access, and they kept saying, yes, it's not completed yet. Only buy it if you are willing to buy an incomplete game. But no, they took it out of early access. It's like saying, yes, this is a standalone piece of content. It's completely fine. 4 months later, by the way, they did the same thing with space-based DF9. They announced they are not going to continue developing it, and they removed it from early access and moved it into the normal Steam store, despite the fact that it isn't a finished game.
At all. I mean,
all. They didn't even try to say it's a complete game. No, we're not developing it anymore. We are releasing the source code to the community. Blah 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 blah. Give us more money.
I can add to the Broken Age stuff, the embargo they put on reviews, by the way, which is, again, a terrible thing they did. They asked reviewers not to review the game before the game released, even though they paid from their own money to a Kickstarter, and they had the game. They could play it like others, and they they couldn't review it basically, and I think the internet just said "fuck you" and released the reviews anyway.
Yeah, I don't think that anyone really gave a damn, because it's not like, well, breaking the embargo will have any implication. It's Double
Yeah,
Fine. No one cares.
they canceled the embargo at the last minute or something because everyone just put the reviews anyway.
I played the Act 1 for 90 minutes. I finished the half of it and played a bit of the other half. Okay, I'm going to say it's a fine game. It's not a bad game. The art is fine. It's quite nice. It's a point and click game, not very challenging. Obviously, the voice acting is excellent because they brought like every Hollywood actor, every popular Hollywood actor ever. Which coincidentally wasn't the reason for the bloated budget, because most of them did it as a favor to Tim Schafer.
And no, I didn't see it's a bad game. I don't think most people think it's a bad game. It was pretty well received, I think.
Yeah, it's a
But
fine game. It's just not a game that's worth $2.5 million.
for a point-and-click game, I don't understand it. I think they should hire someone to budget themselves.
Yeah,
no idea.
2 months ago, I think, they canceled another project and laid off 12 people. Again.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I may be unfair. Companies probably cancel projects and lay off people all the time. It's just that Double Fine show this entire year that they can't manage their project properly.
No, it's a problem. It's a big problem with Double Fine. They have no idea what are they doing with themselves. They have an idea and it's great. And I think that the fact that they have great ideas sometimes is amazing. And I'm sometimes really looking forward to see what they will produce. But wow, it takes them ages, too much money, and they change everything in the middle.
Yep.
So much. Broken Age. How many names did Broken Age had before BrokenAge?
I didn't really follow
remember
the
names
development
like that.
process.
It's I think this is probably the best example of how terrible gaming
the
has
game
become.
industry has become.
I think the game industry, not gaming, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Fortunately, it seemed that some companies are started to learn from this. We all know that Kickstarter isn't as big as it was two years ago.
I don't know about that. Why not?
There isn't.
Maybe in terms of video games or in general.
In gaming, there aren't as many projects. Not as
Yeah,
many.
yeah.
Not as much money is collected.
For video games,
For
I
video
agree.
games,
By
yeah.
the way, for board games, I disagree.
Yeah,
You
board
said
game
so-
is huge because people that want to create board games come to Kickstarter with a finished product and tell people we just need to produce it. Here is the game. Take it.
Yeah.
Unlike video game companies that say, we have an idea, we want to create it, and 3 years later, and in $4 million later, it's crap.
It's not crap. It's just
It's just not worth.
hugely not worth it. Okay.
Yeah. But if companies like I want to check how much money Divinity asked for. I want to see Divinity Original Sin.
By the way, you said 3 years, right?
Broken
Check
Age
something.
Double Fine Adventure was in 2012, I think. And the first act came out this year, and the second act was delayed to 2015, if it will come out. Divinity Original Sin asked for 400,000, got 944,000.
Okay.
230 something percent. Like we said, got it all back, paid their investments back, can now make another game. Another game that came out this year, an indie game with a high profile, it's This War of Mine. It's not a Kickstarter project. It's from the developers that did all the Anomaly series. Anomaly Wars on Earth and all the
Anomaly
all
Korea,
those games.
Anomaly 2.
This game
Yeah.
returned its investment in 2 days.
Nice. Very nice.
Amazing.
Yep. Some developers can do that as well.
Yep.
Because either they can manage themselves or they're not stupid.
Well, it helped that they made a good game that got nothing but praises.
Yeah, it helps.
Okay, let's go on to...
You just reminded me. I'm really looking forward to a game. I think I kickstarted 2 years ago. 2 years. Yeah, 2 years ago. I'm really looking forward to it. Just 2 years. Something they asked for $8,000. They got $28,000, and yeah, I think it's in alpha though. I think it's in alpha for the past 6 months. So I guess another year. Never mind. Maybe we'll talk about it.
I just got access to the alpha of a game I kickstarted this April. We kickstarted it this April, and they already have an alpha version, playable.
That's great. I mean, they probably kickstarted just for the
probably
finishing stuff.
But that's fine. That's
Yeah,
the right way to do it.
Yeah, I think this is the best way to do Kickstarter. In most cases.
It's a game called
Not
Duelist.
just gaming.
And they asked for 68,000 and got 137,000, which is nice.
Very nice.
I'm looking forward to playing it. Okay.
I hope you will soon.
Yeah, I already got my alpha access and started messing with it, but didn't really get into it because Hearthstone take all my time.
If we're talking about that, I think this year also I got Defense Grid 2, which I kickstarted, and again I think it's a good game, a good kickstarted game, and they actually didn't kickstarted the second game. They kickstarted the DLC, and they said that they will make the second, and if you pledged for the DLC, you'll get the second game as well.
Oh.
And yeah, really nice of them.
I heard only good things about it. People say it fixes...
I played a little. I didn't play that much, really, and so far it's a good game. Really hard game, actually. I played it on the harder difficulties, so probably because of that, but they did pretty nice job with it.
Well, I only completed about a third of the original Defense Grid, so...
I finished it with all of the extra stuff and the DLCs and the extra stuff in the DLC. Yeah.
So, all in all, beside Double Fine, not a bad year for Kickstarter.
No, no, not a bad year for Kickstarter. Just it could be a great example. It could be a terrible example, and it could be a pretty decent example. So, yay
Yeah,
for Kickstarter and boo for Kickstarter.
yeah. Next category, we will do
Yeah,
expansion DLC.
best expansion or DLC. Okay.
We already talked about Diablo 3, the Reaper of Souls. It's not the best
Mhm.
expansion.
Yeah.
Not.
Okay. I think this speaks for itself. Yeah.
Yeah. The other things I have listed here is Shadowrun Dragonfall, which is a
Mm-hmm.
weird one because in January they released the original DLC Dragonfall, and then 5 months later they released the director's cut, which is a standalone tweaked version. It has tweaked UI, more missions, stuff like that. And the original Dragonfall DLC was better in all aspects from Shadowrun Returns, which was my game of the year for 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So all in all, it was an excellent expansion, and the director's cut is an excellent game all by itself, and people should buy it even if they didn't enjoy Shadowrun Return because of the story, because Dragon's Fall story is a lot better. The main the main thing people said that was problematic with Return was that you didn't really have any connection to the character because you just picked up a bunch of mercenaries and gone to mission, and that it was too linear. Dragon Ball
Yeah, that this
fixes.
was
Yeah, it was a game of smaller scope.
it was the usual criticism of most people that it was really linear. It
Yeah,
was
and
nothing to
it,
do about that.
it's what they say that you will do because they mainly focused on making the editor so that other people and themselves can make content in the future. So the original campaign was kind of focused and more limited. But Dragonfall gave you both a hub town you can go to mission from, and so you dictated the progression of the story, and a group of persistent characters with their own personalities and dialogues and stuff like that that you could connect with. So they pretty much fixed everything.
Okay, yeah, from your perspective anyway.
Yeah, from the criticism that the main criticism of the people that didn't like Shadowrun wouldn't like Dragonfall. Yeah, it still doesn't have voice acting. It still has the same turn-based, action point-based combat, and so forth. The matrix level are still the same matrix level, so people that didn't like how they implemented the matrix level wouldn't like it anymore in Dragonfall.
So basically, mostly story. If the story was a problem, you think
If the
people
limited
will
if the
enjoy
limited
Dragonfall?
scope of the game was a problem for you, you should try. If you didn't like it because of the mechanic or the aesthetic or stuff like that, it's the same. Although if
Okay.
you didn't like
Fair
the
enough.
UI, they changed the UI in the director's cut.
I- Okay. Change it completely or just fix stuff?
Not completely. They made the stuff more accessible. The original, you needed to open a bunch of sub menus to get to all of your guns and abilities and stuff. They reorganized it to fit
Okay.
better.
If if you didn't play the game that much because of the UI or you just was annoyed by it, then the director's cut is for you.
Maybe, yeah, maybe for you.
Maybe. Okay.
Oh, I just got notification from Twitch Live that GOG.com is gone live with Divinity Original Sin. So if we are boring you and you want to watch Divinity Original Sin, you can go do that.
You should probably. It's a great looking game, by the way.
Yeah, amazing.
I think they did a great job with the animation as well.
Yep.
Which actually surprised me because I thought it's going to suck, to be honest.
When I saw the alpha, I wasn't that impressed by it. But by the time we got the finished product, it was amazing.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's the best stuff I've seen ever. For what they got and for what they delivered, I think it's
for an
it's a really great
isometric
animation.
RPG engine, it's
Yeah,
one of the
exactly.
best I've seen.
Yeah, exactly. They did a great job with it. I think they deserve it.
Okay, other expansion / DLC.
Yeah, of course.
Finally,
About
a
that.
game you played. And
Really?
one of these.
One of the DLCs, maybe.
No, one of the DLCs we played together.
I have. Of it.
Half of it. We are talking about
I'm gonna
Hearthstone. Hearthstone was officially released this year, but it's looked like it's for a long time since the beta was an entire year before it was released. And they released 2 DLC / expansion this year. One was the Adventure Curse of Naxxramas, and the other is the Goblin vs. Gnome, whatever you want to call it, 120, 30, whatever cards, new cards that were released last month.
Yeah.
So we played half of Naxxramas in shared screen. With my collection, we tried to beat the bosses of Naxxramas. And what I think we both liked about it is that you actually needed to change your decks so that you adapt
You need to
to
adjust your deck. You need to build a new deck for each hero, and that was really interesting. I think even the heroes challenges were pretty fun at times.
at times,
Except for the
and
Hunter.
very random at other times.
Yeah, Hunter, for example.
Yes.
Ugh. So sorry, this one annoyed me.
Yep.
Yeah, this is about Curse of Naxxramas, and about Goblin versus Gnomes. I have to say that I think that they went a bit with how Magic the Gathering went with DLCs, when the DLCs partly better than the original.
Yeah.
I mean, the original cards were fine, and then they put DLCs, which has slightly better cards in them, and that kept on and on in Magic the Gathering, where it still is. And I think this is not the same case, but similar case in some points, where they just did something extra. I mean, the mech stuff are, I can't say they are superior, but they are probably superior to a lot of other stuff they put in the original game.
There are more usable cards in the expansion than there are in the original collection.
Yes, and some of them are simply better. I can say that. I'll give you an example. For example, Dr. Doom and opposed to the War Golem, which is just baffling me. This is not something they did in the original game at all. For 7 mana, or what do they call it? Mana, right?
Mana.
Yeah, mana. You get a 7/7 creature, but in the case of Dr. Doom, you get an additional 1/1 creature that has a death rattle of doing extra damage. This is baffling me because no other legendary is simply better than the other cards with the same mana. No other card is like that. No other legendary. And I think they need to fix a lot of stuff for the expansion, for this expansion anyway, to be on the same level as the original game.
I highly doubt they will lower the overall effectiveness of the expansion to that of the original cards. They will probably do, what everybody say they will do, is in 2 or 3 expansion they will start phasing cards out.
Yeah, probably.
And that I don't know what else to say about. I don't know what else to say about the expansion, because it's beside more cards. There isn't much to talk about.
Goblins vs. Gnome is nothing but extra cards and extra mechanic, which
An extra 2
partly-
keywords.
The what?
Extra 2 keywords. I said the mecha and the spare parts.
No. They introduced a new mechanic, the on-draw stuff. When you draw the card, it does.
Right.
something.
Both on draw, and there is a Bolivar for Dragon that get buffed in your hand. It's the only card in the game that get buffed in your hand. And
I'll give you that as well.
and they introduce a reshuffling mechanic that didn't exist before with Malorn and Recycle. And they introduced
the mine as well.
the what?
The mine. Warrior
the
mine.
iron. That's what I was going to say. The Iron Juggernaut. That
Which is both on draw and a shuffle mechanic.
Yeah. Which the game lacked shuffle mechanic there, which is pretty prevalent in other CCGs. We will. So far, it was good for the Hearthstone scene in general, and we will see where it goes.
New stuff. Everybody
it's
likes
new stuff. People whined about wanting new cards for months.
They were bored with the old ones.
Yep.
And they got new cards. Good for them.
So, if I need to choose between the 2 single-player DLC that were good, that Dragonfall and Naxxramas, I think that my pick goes to Naxxramas this year.
Okay.
Oh no, I said something bad about Shadowrun. What will I do with myself?
You didn't say something bad about Shadowrun. You just.
I didn't pick it. It's bad enough.
That's something completely different. Okay, I'll accept that as your pick.
It was a fun single player experience. I hope they
it
do.
is.
I hope they do more adventures in the future, which include WoW raiding mechanics in Hearthstone.
Okay,
I will get to experience all those raids without having raided.
Okay. I hope we'll enjoy it together.
Next category.
I think biggest surprise before we get to the most stuff categories.
Okay. You have a bigger surprise?
This is something I'll probably never have, even if I'll play every game, because mostly nothing surprises me. It either disappoints me or I like it and that's it. And this year, I think most of the stuff that surprised me is some example of how terrible gaming has become. I mean,
you were surprised by how bad things were.
I think if you're talking about that, my biggest surprise is actually the Gamergate, blah blah, and
we are not going to talk about that.
I don't think we'll talk about it, but I'm not going to talk about it anyway, not even the slightest. So yeah, I don't have a biggest surprise beside that.
Have a bigger surprise, and the reason it's surprising is because I expected absolutely nothing from it before it came out. And that
So it's a
game,
good surprise.
yes, for me, for everybody else, it was a terrible surprise. And that game is
Okay.
Destiny. Oh,
It,
every,
I- really? This
yeah,
is the surprise? It
every,
was good?
every single person that expected Destiny was disappointed by it. I
Because they expected something amazing with
yes,
MMO and they forgot who developed it. Okay.
so I didn't expect anything from it, and in the morning it came out. I was getting ready for work, and I turned on Twitch, which I do
Hmm.
to pass the time. And on the main page of Twitch, there was someone playing the campaign, and I watched like 10 minutes of the story, and I got hooked. For a week after that, I couldn't not watch Destiny. Now I didn't play it, so maybe the gameplay is not as good as people say it is. But people bitch about the story, and I liked Destiny's story. I don't know what they want. It, that's what I have to say. I can't say if it's really better than what people say. I just all I'm saying it. I was surprised. It was the biggest surprise because I expected absolutely nothing.
Okay.
I have another biggest surprise, but it's in another category. So I will talk about it in its category.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Which
Um,
category is it?
what?
Which category is it?
The
Let's talk
MVP.
about it.
My MVP
Okay,
is also surprising.
your MVP. Yeah. So,
Another okay. Wolfenstein: The New Order wasn't really surprising because
mhm.
I again okay that's the other way around. I expected to be what it was, but before it was released, people didn't really like it, and when it came out, it was as good as I thought it would be. So it was surprised in the way of other people being surprised.
Mhm.
Um, what else is on my list? Um, all the other game aren't surprising because they were exactly what expected from them um, to begin with. I think um, Titanfall was a bit surprising, not as much as Destiny. Titanfall I actually played, and I
Okay.
expected it to be. Um,
I'm surprised it was surprising to you.
I expected it to be a more traditional multiplayer shooter, and it ended up being more like the splash damage games, like Enemy Territory series,
Mhm.
which I like. They are my favorite multiplayer shooters. I don't play Battlefield or Call of Duty because I don't like them. I don't like that mechanic. The reason I like splash damage game is because there are mechanics in them that let you be helpful to your team without having to be the best shooter. I can
Yep.
put medkits and ammo packs and call for airstrikes and whatever. And today, actually, their new game just popped on Steam, so I can play that now. So Titanfall is kind of like that. You can be helpful without having to be the best shooter that kills other players. You can kill the AI characters. You can drop gigantic war machines on the battlefield and help that way. It was nice.
Which are called Titans?
Yes, the Titans. All along the game, you hear "Prepare for Titanfall." Prepare for Titanfall. Each time you call your Titan, the girl in your helmet says, "Prepare for Titanfall."
Okay.
So
I don't know. I don't see that as a surprise. I think mostly because of all of the hype of Titanfall. I actually got to hear a lot about it, and I was really not surprised when it came out. But
again,
it's your pick, not mine.
no. What you say is exactly the reason I got surprised, because each time a game is hyped, I don't care about it at all. And when I found out it's actually fun for me, it's surprising. I don't expect to like games that the majority likes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Especially not a shooter.
I think if we're talking about surprise right now, I'm looking at your list and I see Smite over there, which actually was a bit surprising to me, that you can actually take a MOBA game and make it
Bearable?
not third person.
No.
It
You mean third person, not top down.
Exactly. Yeah, third person, not top down. Yeah, exactly. And actually make it different. And people actually play it. It's refreshing.
It's a really good game.
Refreshing.
One of the strengths of Smite is that from the beginning they put other modes. The conquest is the conquest, which is the normal MOBA mode, is actually the not majority played mode. The mode I like the best is Arena. In Arena, you don't have lanes. There is a big arena, and everybody kill everyone else.
Yep. That's always nice.
And there is also ARAM, all random, all middle, which is kind of good. But when I get into it, people shout at me for not knowing how to play the character, despite it being a randomly selected character. There are 80 gods in the game. I can't play them all.
I tell it to Dota players or LoL players when they have how many characters?
Not
sure.
Above 100.
Yeah.
20 and 30, I don't know.
And they keep counting.
Smite
keep adding stuff.
Yeah, they keep adding stuff. Smite is also really good because they have the most active community management I've seen to date. They have 24 hours each day of streaming. They pay people to stream for them. They encourage people playing the game to stream.
LoL as well.
What?
LoL as well.
Smite doesn't have the biggest streaming community, not by far, but I really like what they're doing.
The player base isn't that big.
Yeah, obviously, but they seem to be doing well. So if we are already on the topic of MOBAs and the companies doing well, this year there was a new game called Dawngate, which was released and then cancelled in the period of 6 months.
Wait, it was released? I thought it was in beta.
Technically beta, but whatever. It's
Okay, just making sure I wasn't missing something.
It was technically in beta, but the entire monetization model was in place and everything, and they paid people to come and promote them in conventions and stuff and so on and so forth. And then EA decided that it wasn't profitable enough, so they canceled it after 6 months of beta. I hate them.
But they did return every penny that people paid them, so I think
they didn't screw up the audience. Good for them.
It's not evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not an evil. We're canceling the game and taking all of your money. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah. They didn't
they were
screw over the player base.
They were fair, which is nice.
My problem is with the other side of the thing, the development. They took a team, they gave them a production at the whatever studio. They gave and then they canceled it after 6 months. It wasn't meeting expectations, according to the press release. After 6 months of beta.
Okay, you'll have to believe them. And
EA? No, I don't have to believe them.
It's not like you have a choice here.
No,
you can either...
it's not. It was really a nice game as well. It was 2-lane setup, not 3-lane. And you had also passive income from mineral lines, like a bit like StarCraft. And you could go and kill the workers to stop the enemy supply. And you could pick...
new mechanic to MOBA games.
Yeah. And you could pick... a role that was separated from your character. So you could take a single character and choose to be I forgot what it is called. You could be a support, you could be a carry, whatever.
Tank.
It wasn't tied to the characters themselves. You could choose what you want to be. It was nice and I like it. The only problem with it is that games will take upward of 50 minutes, which I didn't like. That's why I moved to Smite, which games are finished in 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay. And maybe next year we'll talk about Heroes of the Storm.
I already have Heroes of the Storm and I played it a bit, and it also has shorter matches, which is nice.
I was invited to the alpha, but they didn't enter it, and mostly because I don't have time.
Yeah, I started playing it, and then I played something else.
Okay. So, what is the pick for the biggest surprise? Where we didn't.
Destiny is the biggest surprise.
Yeah. Okay. Destiny. Okay. Biggest surprise.
Just because
for the better, not for the. Worse.
For the better.
Surprise. No, this is.
I'm probably the only guy on the face of the earth that actually likes this game, but that's because I don't play it.
Okay.
Most overrated?
Okay, most overrated game of the year.
I don't know actually.
By the way, have you played the Game of Thrones?
Nope. Game of Thrones, Telltale. There.
Yeah, the Telltale game.
Anyway, I don't want to play Telltale games before they finish the seasons.
That's it. I
understand
you.
It seems annoying.
I understand.
The Game of Thrones
one. I agree to an extent.
The Game of Thrones one doesn't really interest me. The Borderlands one much more so. Same reason why The Walking Dead isn't interesting to me, but The Wolf Among Us is very much interesting to me.
Yeah, I understand and I agree mostly. So, what are the options for the most overrated game of the year?
Oh damn! I had another pick for disappointment, which we didn't talk about.
What is it? Let's talk
Wildstar.
About it shortly. Wildstar. What is it? I've never seen it.
Wildstar is an MMO. It's basically World of Warcraft in space, but not 2014 World of Warcraft, 2008 World of Warcraft.
Yeah, okay, this is not a disappointment. This is something that you should delete from your game, from your
No,
computer.
the problem is it's really pretty and really polished, but the game plays like World of Warcraft in 2008.
Yeah, wait, 2008 or 2004?
No,
Because
2008. Let's not.
That's after the
2008.
expansion. That's actually not a bad game.
It's not a bad game, but it's still too old.
Yeah, I understand. But
That's the problem. It's not a bad game. It's an old game. And I'm waiting for them to drop the purchase price. They are still asking for a box purchase, which is insane. Is today you need to pay $40 and then subscribe to the game. Still in this day.
Okay, this is...
Wake up to the MMO marketplace. You don't ask for box price. You can ask for subscription. That's fine, but don't ask me to pay $40 just to pay the game.
WoW does it.
No.
Why not them?
World of Warcraft doesn't do it anymore. You get Pandaria for free.
Yeah, but you need to buy the new
The
one.
newest expansion. That's fine. The newest.
What? It's the same.
No, it's not the same thing. If they want to be competitive, drop the box price. I will play.
It's the same thing.
I don't agree. I will play their game after they drop the box price. Star Wars: The Old Republic technically is a free-to-play game, but you can't do shit in the free-to-play model. The subscription is fine. But we are digressing to too much MMO talk. Most overrated game of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know. There isn't an overrated game in my list.
I think so.
No game is overrated this year.
Yep, no game is overrated. Nothing. Well, mostly because no one actually rated highly stuff like Call of Duty or Battlefield stuff this year.
No one overrates game anymore. Okay.
Stuff that got repetitive like Sim 4 or... nothing was rated that high.
Watch Dogs maybe, but...
No, even Watch Dogs was not rated that high. People complain about this game endlessly.
It was very hyped in 2003, but after they pushed it back, like 6 months, no one cared anymore.
Yeah. Even Shadow of Mordor wasn't overrated.
Shadow of Mordor was off everyone's radar before it was released. They didn't even send review copies.
I'd say it was mostly surprisingly not overrated. Nothing, no game here that is highly rated or... No.
We can say that it's a good thing for the game industry. Nobody overrates game anymore. We get what we want.
That's actually a move in the right direction.
Well, there is a game on this list, not on this list, that was overrated, which is Assassin's Creed Unity, and came out shit. But I haven't even watched any of it.
I've heard a lot of reviews, and most of them say, "Do not buy this game."
Yeah, but overrated. We are talking about up to the release of the game or the review of the game.
Okay.
But even Assassin's Creed Unity, I talked to several people that played it after they patched it, and after they fixed all the technical issues, it's an Assassin's Creed game, which means it's not that bad. So even that.
Most reviews just said it. I mean, they say if you fix it, they didn't put anything new here. It's the same old freaking game.
Actually, they removed the boats. So
Yeah, they removed the roads from the
it's
last
less
one.
than the previous game. But it's not on the list. We're not talking about it. So no overrated game. Good for
No
everybody.
overrated game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, so
Woo!
what's the most underrated game of the year?
Um, underrated game of the year. Wow. No idea. What do you think?
Um, well, I talked about it in Wolfenstein, but it was underrated before it came out. The minute it came out, it wasn't underrated anymore. Everyone liked it.
So it doesn't count, really.
No, it doesn't count. Um, uh, it's no, none of those games came after they came out was badly reviewed. That's the thing. The Sims is badly reviewed, but it's not because it's underrated. It's because it was buggy and people wanted the expansions, which weren't there.
Yep, exactly. Like all sim games, you have to buy the game and then buy expansion and buy expansion and buy expansion and
Yeah, but,
and then a new sims come and you have to buy the new sim and then you have to buy expansion for the new sim and another
people complained about Kilo. It didn't even have basic stuff that 3 had in the base game, like pools or the open world. That was my biggest complaint when I reviewed The Sims 4, is that when moving between houses and between house to businesses, there were loading screens. And in the previous games, you could just walk everywhere. And it has had a lot of bugs on release, and it crashed several times, and it doesn't have autosaves, which is
the most stupid thing they ever did
Yeah.
in the sim game.
I can
And-
say that Rise of Nation Extended Edition is the most underrated game of the year.
Okay.
Not really. It's the best remake of the year, in my opinion.
Okay. I haven't played.
The Banner
remake
Saga is
in
maybe
years.
underrated.
I thought you're going to say the Banner Saga. Actually, I thought this is going to be your peak, and I'm not sure it was that underrated. But this is the most fitting game to
I
be
think
picked. I think.
I think it was well reviewed, but not many people play it.
It could be underrated in these circumstances. You can say it was underrated for this.
Yeah, it got a lot of press because of the Candy Crush incident.
Yeah, Candy Crush Saga.
Yeah.
You
Saga.
need to say it.
Yeah, let's
Saga is a word that only they could use.
yes, let's trademark a word used for hundreds of years.
And wait, they're now they want to release a new game or an expansion for a
No, it's the new game, Banner Saga 2.
new game?
It from the
Okay.
begin. It was supposed to be a 3-part saga from the beginning. They kickstarted the first part, and I think that the second part is all privately funded. I don't think they are going to get
Yeah. No, they're not going. They said they wouldn't, but
Yeah. So
doesn't mean they
good for
won't,
Stoic.
but-
You're good. I played
Okay.
I played this game a couple months ago, and I tweeted like the Banner Saga has great animation, and I really bad at the combat. And Stoic tweeted me back. They say I needed to train more.
Okay. In your case, I think they hit the mark.
In my case, I don't like challenging games, so I generally don't play them very much. But
I know.
the Banner Saga is actually the game of the month for January for my game of the month group, and people started playing it. And from what they are saying, there are a lot more dialogue and conversation choices than what I originally thought in the game. I thought it had a lot more combat, but I didn't play more than 2 hours of it, more or less.
Okay.
They are one of the few games that has a functional tablet touchscreen version, which is very nice.
Okay, that's actually really, really nice.
Yeah.
Except for, Hearthstone has one.
Yeah. But Hearthstone was designed that way from the beginning. The Balance Saga supposedly too, so it's nice. Okay, so we will pick that for the most underrated game. We're running kind of long, so we will skip the anticipated game of 2015. Also because there aren't many anticipated games. Like, the only one I can think about is The Witcher 3, and that's it.
Well, that's actually... You have a point there with The Witcher 3, but...
I'm really waiting for it, but I won't play it myself since I don't like playing open world game. I will probably watch the entire thing.
Are you going to watch 20 hours of whatever it is?
Yes, 20 hours. Okay. It will be more likely 60. I watched.
Yeah, I didn't want to. Probably someone is going to do it faster.
Nah, usually I watch. Jesse Cox will probably do it, and I will watch his Let's Play. He did The Witcher 2. He does Dragon Age currently. I watch. I like him for RPGs. He's entertaining.
Okay.
The Witcher 3 will have a new playable character, a female Witcher.
I heard about it. It's really nice.
She's called Ciri. With a C.
Okay.
It's a short for something, I don't remember.
And apparently, of course, it's going to not have any DRM in it.
Yeah.
Wait, continue with your...
No, I was saying that she's a character from the original book series.
Okay, I didn't know it was based on books. But
you didn't know The Witcher is based on book?
I didn't know it.
It's a book of a series of books by a Polish writer, which they started translating to English like, I don't know, 4 years ago, despite the book started coming out 10 years ago, probably because of the popularity of the games. And the entire book series takes place before the games. And part of the plot of the games is based on it, but most of the plot is original. The only real connection is Geralt of Rivia and the world, of course.
And I have to say this is actually interesting because I didn't know all of that.
I just ordered the comics based on the books from Book Depository, so after we read it, you can borrow it and read it for yourself.
Okay, I think I will. It's actually interesting. Okay, so we got a most anticipated game of 2000.
Yeah, Witcher 3, which and you started saying, the only anticipated game. You started saying that it wouldn't have any DRM, obviously, because it's GOG.
No, obviously because they said they are against DRM and
but they said it
more
3 years ago. It's not something new for the Witcher 3. They removed the DRM sometime after the release of the Witcher 2. And
but this one is going to have no DRM from
the beginning, unless you buy it from Steam, which will have Steam DRM.
Yeah, it's not really the game DRM, and that's it.
Well, it's not the DRM the original has that required you to install it up to 3 times, and it blocked you and whatever.
It was terrible. It was really terrible.
Yeah. They have.
I know some people who bought the game and then pirated it to play it.
Yeah.
because it was that much worse to play it legally.
Yep. But fortunately, CD Projekt saw the light, and not only saw the light, but they are giving us the light in bountiful with GOG.
I hope they'll carry the torch towards a better future in this case.
Most new games that comes out simultaneously on GOG or on Steam and stuff, I buy on GOG. I prefer to give the money through them and have a DRM-free experience.
That's great, actually. I don't usually look on GOG, and I have money on Steam, so this is...
Yeah, if you already have money there, it's fine.
Yeah, I bought so many games, actually, without paying anything. I have no idea why people buy badges or stuff, but I bought Metal Gear Revengeance with money I never paid.
Good.
Yeah.
So,
I like it.
For our final category.
Yeah, and now you're going to say why it's not the game of the year.
Yeah. Last year we called it the game of the year, and I picked a game of the year, but Rotoou didn't have a game of the year because he couldn't really decide what was the best quote-unquote game of the year. And that's the reason we are changing it, because we are not going to say which is the best game of 2014. We are going to say which was our favorite game, or the game that most impressed us for 2014. It's not. It will. Not, it won't even necessarily be the best game for us. It's just the top of the line. If I say that. So we are labeling this category the MVP award, the most valuable player game award.
Yep. MVG.
NVG, yes. Do you have a pick?
Sadly, no. I'll actually say Hearthstone, but mostly because it's partly addictive, I think, and not because it's really deserved to be an MVG. I think that's it.
Okay. My MVP, which is also a very, what did I call it earlier? Surprising? I think that I said surprising earlier, is South Park: The Order of the Stick. The Stick of Truth, not the Order of the Stick. The Order of the Stick, something else. The Stick of Truth. And
Doc. You could talk.
Again, it was a surprising game for me because it kind of disappeared. It was in development hell for 3 years, I think. It was originally in the hands of THQ, and then they died.
They got bankrupt,
yeah,
and they declared bankruptcy, and then they transferred it to Ubisoft, and then it was transferred again, and something, I have no idea what happened there, and finally it was released.
By Ubisoft.
And they decided, by Ubisoft, and they decided that it's not going to be sold in Israel, so fudge them.
Yeah, it's not only them. The Wolfenstein, what is the publisher of Wolfenstein? Wolfenstein, the New Order.
Yeah, which you can't even buy in Germany.
Bethesda.
Yeah.
Okay. So both of those companies decided, we are not going to even consider publishing it in Israel. We don't care
or
enough.
Germany.
No, that's something else. Germany and Austria has actual laws against showing Nazi symbols.
I know, but
what they did with Order of the not Order of the Stick, the Stick of Truth, is releasing a modified version that removed all swastika from the game. we didn't even get the German version, which probably was with German voice acting, but whatever. So the Stick of Truth fell out the face of the earth and then came out. And it was really, 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 really good. It was a good game by itself, and it was one of the best licensed game that like were ever made. Like most licensed game are generally crap, unless you were talking about something like The Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. But most Star Wars games are also crap.
That's actually but you have to remember that in this case, Trey Parker and Matt Stone worked very closely with THQ in this, and even listening to them talking about that they had to actually reimagine the town and actually build the town so you could walk from one place to another, and I was really impressed with them talking about it and getting excited about the game as well. And of course, they voice acted the game, which meant it was authentic in all regards.
Many people say it was like an actual South Park.
It was an actual episode. Yeah, it was an actual episode, I think, and that's it. I'm not sure it's an MVP, but I agree it's a great example.
I didn't even get to my primary reason yet.
Okay.
You said about the creator of South Park working closely with the developer, and that's because after several failed attempts and creating a South Park game, they said, we are not going to let you get this license if you are not going to be true to the series.
Mm-hmm.
So whichever studio developed it eventually nailed it right. Now the reason it's my MVP, it's for the reason that it's an excellent RPG by itself. Even if it wasn't a South Park game, the game itself is amazing. I was blown away by how in depth the mechanics of the game were. I only saw two classes in action: the Jew and the wizard.
Okay.
But all the different characters you can pick along the way each have their own unique skill set. The way they did mini quick time events to execute the move, I think maybe if you played the game for very long, maybe it became stale because you needed to do those moves again. But
like in most RPGs, it's not
yes,
something
but
different.
There are RPG. It's a point that is made for in favor and against a game. Like people talk about Final Fantasy, for example, and they always say, "Oh, in Final Fantasy combat, you just press A all the time. A, I win." And here they made it a bit more interesting. Like what I said about Child of Light, the highlight of the game was the combat system, which is again a turn-based RPG with a twist. South Park is a bit the same. Again, like it is like the gated content Metroidvania style until you got the gnome shrinking dust. You can go some places until you got the Asprobe. You couldn't get to some places. It's standard. It's standard in any RPG, but they implemented it so well with the setting of South Park. I think it is a very, very good RPG. I wouldn't say it's the best game that came this year. I wouldn't even say it's the best RPG that came this year. but it's the most
I think it's the
impressive.
best RPG of the year, but I haven't played them all, so
I don't know if it's better from the original sin or from Dragon Age Inquisition, RPG wise.
okay, okay,
Maybe better than Inquisition, since Inquisition is basically an MMO. But I don't know
mm,
if it's better than Original Sin. Original Sin, it's more in
okay,
depth.
okay.
Um, so it's the game that most impressed me this year, and I give it my most valuable game of the year.
Yay!
And it's a Ubisoft game.
It's not really a Ubisoft
No,
game.
it's not. It's a Ubisoft published game.
Yeah, it's a THQ game mostly.
Yeah,
I think they
good old THQ. Rest in
they ran
peace.
everything behind the
Rest in
scenes
pieces.
when it was developed. Yeah, rest in peace.
They
I
are.
actually liked most THQ games.
Yeah,
Not
THQ
most,
had
but
very
some.
good games.
Yeah.
If you are talking about a refugee from bankrupt companies, the Raise of Nation Extended Edition only happened
Mhm.
because 38 Studios got bankrupt. They held the license for Rise of Nations, and I don't know which company was that got the
Got
license
the
after the
license.
auction, but they released it. So,
Nice. I
yay.
didn't know that. I
Yeah.
didn't know that, and it's a very nice, interesting piece of information.
It's because 38 Studios was like mishmash of, excuse me, of developers from a bunch of older game studios, including big,
Mhm.
huge games, which came to form 38 Studios. So when they died, all the group members lost their privileges, so to speak. Extended
Okay.
edition.
Why they call it
Skybox
extended
Labs.
edition?
It's called Skybox Labs. I don't know. Oh,
Never heard
they're
of
from
them.
Vancouver. Maybe they have a job for me.
Yeah, just ask for me as well. Would love to move.
I will call them and tell them how many hours I spend on Rise of Nation, and I love them for re-releasing it.
Okay.
טוב,
Well,
okay.
yeah.
In spite me talking in Hebrew words from time to time, we managed to finish this show. It took us 2 hours. It's like double the time we did last year.
2 hours. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't even get to talk about other games that we actually said we maybe
Yeah,
will. Okay.
we talked like on about third of the list of games I played this year.
Yeah. We didn't talk about almost any game I played to completion
Okay,
this year.
so to conclude the show, what did you play this year besides Hearthstone?
Star Realms. No, I just look at Star Realms at the when you wrote it at the bottom.
Noteworthy, yeah.
What I played to completion, I think nothing. What I
No,
played
to completion.
this
I
year,
didn't. I most games I didn't. I don't
I
play
didn't
to
think I
completion.
played this year a game that was released this year, which is a bit of a problem. I played Harvey New Eyes.
What?
Harvey New Eyes.
I don't even know what it is.
Well, wait. And Harvey New Eyes. Oh, yeah, that's it. It's a game by Daedalic, or
Okay.
whatever they call themselves. It's an old game.
Daedalic,
It's a
I think.
Daedalic, okay, whatever. It's a point-and-click game, of course,
Obviously.
and it's a great game.
It's a game for 2012.
So, yeah, I said it's not a game that was published this year.
Okay, you enjoyed it?
It's a really good game. Yeah.
I on one of the last GOG sales, I bought a pack with all of the Deponia series.
That's amazing. That's another good game. I think Anna Harvey is standalone a better game than Deponia, but the Pony series is a great series of games. I haven't played the third one actually, so I played the first one twice, the second one with the whatever they call it, when every word is I don't remember. I played the second one
There is
and I need to
Deponia, Chaos in Deponia, and Goodbye Deponia, or something
yeah,
like
Goodbye
that.
to Pony I didn't play, which was released this year I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I will check.
I,
Deponia, Chaos today. Chaos in Deponia, Goodbye Deponia. Purchased on November. Yeah, purchased on November. Released October 2013.
okay, so even if I played it, we could have talked about it.
I'm waiting to play them. I heard good things and I wanted to go back and play point and click, one that doesn't cost $3 million to make.
Yeah, play it. You'll love the pony, I think. It's a great game with great humor. And yep, they know how to make good point and click games. And unlike Tim
Well,
Schafer,
they
they can
are
budget themselves.
they are German. They know how to do projects.
Yeah, they are German.
For the record,
Okay.
I played or / watched 28 new games this year. Games that came out in 2014. Technically, stuff like Revengeance didn't came out in 2014 originally, just for the PC.
The
It came out
PC
in
version,
2014.
yeah.
But whatever.
And
And I obviously played a bunch of stuff that wasn't new, but I didn't follow it. So I play on average or watch more than 3 games each month. That's a lot of games.
that's a lot of games, yeah. That's-
But for 2015, I have a spreadsheet in which I write everything I play or watch. Not only games, but movies and stuff like that. So I will have a better record next year because to make this show, in the beginning of December, I sat down. I said December instead of December. I sat down and started looking what games I actually played this year, and it's pretty hard to go over everything and see what you played in 2014. So thank you, Roto. Thank you for
Icel.
the 6 or 8 listeners that we had all along this broadcast. I think that it's the most successful broadcast Icel.me has to date.
Good for you! Yay!
Hopefully there will be many more in the year to come, and everyone have a good 2015, and hopefully we have good games, no disappointments, no overrated, no example of how terrible the gaming has become.
Hopefully. Yeah. And no Gamergate.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I had to say it.
Let's stop. Please stop. Any final
Okay.
words?
No, I think the Gamergate was my final word. I should stop now before I get that.
Before you force upon us the hordes of the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.